Hi Janis Joplin fans, I'm standing in front of what was once the Landmark Motel. It's now the Highland Gardens Motel. Apparently they changed the name because of the notoriety of Janis Joplin being found dead here in October of 1970. As you can see, we're walking up the driveway, and this is the room where Janis Joplin stayed in 1970, where she was found dead of a heroin overdose. Apparently it has like a kitchenette in there. Anyway, she stayed off the lobby because they said there was a cigarette machine that she used to like coming into, where she was all stoned out of her wits to get a pack of cigarettes. And about an hour before she died, they said she came straggling in there drunk as a lord to get change for the cigarette machine. Anyway, she stayed here on the right off the lobby, they said, because it was convenient. And as you can see, as we're walking into the hallway, everything looks pretty much the same. And we're coming up to room 105, and this is where she was found dead in October 1970 by a bandmate. I think his name was John Cook from Untitled Chapter band. It looks pretty much the same except for that modern number there, but that's the room number, and that's the room. And if you guys have read about her life, they had wild abandoned parties here. Even though the 60s was winding down, Janis was still living that wild, crazy life. And this is the outside exit to the inner courtyard, to the pool. This is where Janis Joplin would have been walking down. And here's the inner courtyard, and it looks pretty much the same. They haven't changed any of the motif from the 60s. And Chris Christopherson, Peggy Caserta, all her bandmates, they all stayed here from Untitled Chapter band because they were recording down a couple of blocks down on Sunset at Sunset Sound. It was convenient for her to stay here. And here's where all the wild parties took place. And as you can see, if you can imagine Janis Joplin having wild parties at this pool, all spaced out on acid, all her bandmates having a good old time. And take a little panning shot of the whole pool area. Thankfully, they haven't torn this whole motel down. It's a kind of a shock because they always tear down everything in Hollywood and put some kind of modern monstrosity. So for you Janis Joplin fans, always want to know where she spent the last days of her life. We're here at the Landmark Motel. Okay, as I'm walking out towards the lobby area. And as you guys can see, there's the lobby. It's a little bit modernized, but this is what Janis Joplin was seeing and existing in that little time period. And if you're old enough to remember that time, it's unforgettable. It's so staid and boring now in this modern era, but if these walls could talk. Okay, well, for what it's worth, Janis Joplin fans, this is my homage to her, the great Janis Joplin. And one more thing, ever since I've been here in California, this was the original sign, part of the original sign to the Landmark Motel, or hotel as it so precisely says right there. Okay, Janis Joplin fans, hope you enjoyed this video log.